So, welcome to my presentation. This is the second time I've done a presentation, and I'm going to be explaining what is cinematic, why do we want cinematic, and how do we make your things look cinematic. So, first off, I'm going to start off with what is cinematic. Cinematic is a very general term, but if you were to dumb it down, it's an adjective that describes a movie feel. And when you watch a movie and an AFV video or like a homegrown video, you can tell the difference. When you watch a movie, you're like, hey, this feels like a movie. And then when you watch a video done on an iPhone or just for fun, you're like, hey, that seems like a homegrown video that is not professionally done. And so it is an adjective, and mainly it's the movie feel and what is professional. So cinematic is like what looks professional. So you can make homegrown videos look professional by what kind of color you use, type of camera, the lenses, the costumes, the design, the set. All these little things add up to make it look cinematic or movie-like and professional. So that is the basic of what cinematic is. Okay, and why do you try to make it look cinematic? Well, I took two different photos here, and this one on the right is with a nice camera and all the cinematic features, and the one on the left is shot with my iPhone, not with a ton of cinematic features. So we start up on the left right here. You can see that it's just a lot of it's in focus, most of it's in focus. You can see that the background is also in focus with her face. And it's daylight, so you kind of get an even lighting, which it does not look terrible, but it does not look cinematic and movie-like. And then you look on the right, this feels like a movie scene. If I said, hey, that is from a movie, then you probably would believe me. So, and by those features, or I'm going to tell you what the features are, is one of them is letterbox. So there's a crop on the top and the bottom. You can see how the black open space, that adds a more filmic and cinematic feel, because a lot of the movies do that. So we're trying to emulate a movie feel and make it look professional. Another thing I did is I added some light under her chin on the right side, and that adds just a little more, just something else, more eye candy, which catches your eye and makes it more cinematic. And a main one for me, and I used in this, is the blurry background. So the depth of field is I used a certain type of lens that blurred the background and put my sister in focus. So it had more of a blurry background and she's in focus. But you can see with the other image, it's outside is focused and she's in focus, which is not as cinematic and movie-like. Okay, so how do you make it cinematic? I kind of covered that in the other slide. But like I said, letterbox, and that's kind of the cropping that is on the top of the picture on the right with that man, the crop on the top and the bottom, those black spaces. It adds a more cinematic and movie feel, because that's what all cinematographers, all the movies, they do that. So that if you when you try to emulate that, you can get your footage, your videos to make it to feel kind of like a movie. Color correction, also the guy on the right, you can see the two different color corrections people did. So there's the top one, which is kind of bland and washed out, and then you have the bottom one, which has a really good color vibrance. It's dark in some spots, it's bright, and you can see also this feels more like a film and movie photo because the blurry background. So that's just the type of lens they use to make him in focus, and a blurry background that adds more of a cinematic and movie professional feel. Sound design is another big one. A lot of movies, they have a great sound design, and it immerses you in the movie and it makes you feel like you're in it, and that's another cinematic feature that can determine a cinematic video. You can make GoPro footage look cinematic with the right sound design, the slow motion, the location, the colors that you in post-production when you're editing, you correct it and make it look more cinematic. So there's a lot of things you can do in the editing world to make it look cinematic. So you can see this is just more of another diagram of the shallow depth of field, or the blurry background is the monkey is in focus and the fence is not in focus, compared to the one on the right is the monkey is the monkey's in focus, and the whole fence is roughly in focus too. So mainly all those things on the left hand side, all those things add up to make it look cinematic. Okay, so now I kind of gave a basic overview. I'm going to do a little comparison. So I'm going to be opening this link right here, and you're going to tell me if this looks cinematic or not. We got ads. Okay. So, tell me what you think. I would consider this or I'll let you decide, and then I'll do two comparisons. So this one would be, I don't know, you tell me. Okay, so just from that, you can get a feel of that is a cinematic video. It has big shots, it has good color, it has time remapping where it's like fast and then slow, and that's just right off the bat feels kind of like a movie. If you were to add some storyline and some characters, that kind of feels like a movie already. But like compared to this is not cinematic. It doesn't feel like a movie. So you can see that right off the bat that it does not feel very cinematic or movie-like. There's a lot of shaky shots. They're not really sure what they're doing with the camera. And you can see in this blurry shot that it's kind of all in focus. Like this, it's all kind of in focus, even though the camera's not good enough to tell that it's in focus, but it's kind of all in focus. But the other one that we saw has a really cinematic feel where it's grand. There's a lot of shallow depth of field that is like, he's in focus, and his jacket's in focus, but in the background it is not, and that adds a cinematic feel. So that's kind of the basic cinematic features. So cinematic is what looks professional and feels like a movie. You want to be cinematic because you want to emulate a movie, because if you emulate a movie, it feels professional, and you want your videos to be good and professional, because professional is good. And then why do you want it to, or how do you do it, is all the different features: camera, lenses, location, people, all the different lights, and all the things add up to make it feel filmic, cinematic, professional. Okay guys, that's all for today. Thank you for listening to this and watching this, and I will do another presentation soon. Not sure when. Okay, done recording. Yeah.